Good afternoon all. Today we will start introduction to Verilog SDL. In this topic we will try to cover up what is the history of SDL followed by a basic tutorial on SDL. So, at introduction part, Verilog SDL is one of the hardware description language, as we have seen our last classes, that it is used to model RTL level designs. So, in RTL level mostly it is also used to model digital designs only. So, analog designs they have certain version of Verilog AMS to model it, but mostly initially Verilog is designed to model digital system. Okay. So, it can be modeled at different level of abstraction, like I told. It can be starting from algorithmic level, it can also support gate level, it also support switch level. That means, we can also model NMOS, PMOS and CMOS also. Okay. So, that all the things we will see in detail. So, it can also used to model complexity of the design. So, it may be complex, like it can model a simple gate, it can also model a complex system like system on a chip. Digital designs are hierarchically represented. So, it also supports hierarchical representation of the digital design. At the same time, it has a feature of supporting timing, or it allows to model timing in the Verilog SDL. Okay. So, there are three modeling style we used in Verilog SDL. One is called behavioral modeling style, data flow modeling style and structural modeling style. And at the end you can use all these three to write complex level of designs, which are called as mixed type modeling or mixed design modeling. Okay. So, a brief introduction, after introduction a brief history about Verilog. So, initially VHDL started under Department of Defense USA during World War time. At the same time, Verilog also started in 1983, first developed by Gateway Design Automation, one of the company hosted by Dr. Prabhu Goel, which is later acquired by Cadence in 1989. So, they started designing their own Verilog coding to model digital design. So, it was more or less it was similar to C. Okay. So, in 1986 they came up with fast extension version of Verilog Excel. Version is the Verilog Excel, which was actually initially proprietary language. That means, they can use only for modeling their designs for their own company. Later on in 1990 they put it on the open domain by so that it can be more popular, it can be widely adopted by other companies or other academic people or industries. Okay. So, in 1992 they create one Open Verilog International Forum, where they started promoting Verilog. In 1995, as you know, IEEE is our maintaining the standard for all electrical and electronics designs or products. So, they hand over IEEE taken the charge to make it standardized. So, in 1995 the first version, standard version by IEEE is released, that is called IEEE STD 1364-1995. Here 95 is the release version. Okay. Later on in 2002 IEEE released another version 1364-2001, and in this version there was certain level of modification or errors suggested by users. So, in 2003 they come up with a revised version 1364-2001 revision C. Okay. So, this is actually initiated by one of our initiated by Gateway Design, which is one of our Indian researcher has been involved, like Dr. Prabhu Goel, and under in that company it was first designed by first Verilog SDL was designed by Phil Murby. So, these are the sources of the history. Okay. So, this is a brief history After that, we should know what are the different capabilities of this Verilog SDL. So, till now you might be knowing C coding language. Okay. So, in C coding language, most of the designs are sequential, or most of the coding is sequential in nature. Okay. So, here it adds many other modeling style. One of the modeling style is called your data flow modeling. In that modeling style, all the equation or whatever coding you will write, all will execute parallelly, that is called as concurrently. Okay. So, that is one of the modeling style you will never find in C. Okay. So, concurrency in execution of the coding is supported by Verilog SDL, because why it is supported, because our hardware sometimes work concurrently, like combinational designs, they work parallelly. So, if you are having a series of inverter or series of AND gates, so whenever there is a change in input in any of the AND gate, it may be first stage of AND gate or last stage of AND gate, the output will be changed. Okay. So, the only thing is that its input should change, it may be at the first stage or last stage. Okay. That is why, so concurrency can be modeled in using Verilog SDL. Like that, it's also support different built-in primitive gates like AND gate, OR gate, NAND gate. So, these are gates are available, we will see in detail in future classes. So, these gates can be used to model your low level hierarchy designs like Boolean expression based designs like full adder, half adder. If it is not that complex design, or a complex design is modeled into low level designs, so those can be modeled by using these primitive gates. Okay. So, you can also define user defined primitive, so that we will see in detail later on, and it also supports switch level modeling. So, switch level modeling means this is one of the benefit over VHDL of Verilog. In VHDL, hardware description language does not support NMOS PMOS modeling, that means transistor level modeling is not supported, whereas Verilog supports PMOS, NMOS or CMOS modeling. So, that means if I will tell that that if there is a, let us say, XOR gate, so you want to design one XOR gate. So, you can design by using by using gates, primitive gates available, like I have written AND or NAND, whatever is required for XOR. Similarly, if I will tell that there is a XOR gate, you design it by using CMOS logic. So, there may be a chance you may get you require 4 NMOS, 4 PMOS. So, that also you can take and you can also design. So, NMOS, PMOS also logics can also means transistor level simulations can also be done in SPICE coding, as I told in previous classes. It can also be done in Verilog coding also. Okay. So, it also helps you to specify delays. So, either it is pin to pin delay or path delays or timing delays or timing information can also be passed. That means if there is a gates, there will be always an inherent propagation delay will be there. So, that we cannot rule out. Okay. So, propagation delay is inherent due to manufacturing process in gates. So, to model those delays, it supports a method to incorporate delays in this language. Okay. So, these are the stuffs. Out of these stuffs, some of the benefits you may not get in C type language. Okay. And C again not used for modeling hardware. Okay. So, here we use data type called net data type, register data type. So, I will tell in detail later. As the name indicates, register sometimes is to store sequential design data, and nets are used for storing combinational based design data. So, that in detail we will see. It also supports module instantiation. That means, if I will tell that you design a full adder using 2 half adder and 1 OR gate. So, different modules are there or different blocks are there. Those modules can be called, they can be connected, and they further can form a top level module. This is called, calling is called here instantiation. So, module instantiation and designing. Okay. So, that comes under structural level modeling. So, it also supports module instantiation constructs. So, mostly our systems comprises of different blocks. So, when you are talking about top level system design, then blocks has to be taken and it has to be connected properly to perform certain application. Okay. So, that at that time module instantiation constructs will be very useful. It also supports that your design can be of any arbitrary size, like it may be 8 bit output or 4 bit or 32 bit. That means parameterized based designs you can make. Okay. It is exchange language between tools and designers. So, that means there are nowadays tools are there like Cadence and all. It always takes Verilog as one of the input. So, Verilog gate level netlist which is created after your synthesis is over, I told. So, those netlists now they Cadence is an industry standard tool which always takes Verilog as one of the tool, Verilog as one of the code for importing to its tools for doing further layout and all. Okay. So, it also now forms one of the language between tools as well as designers. So, designers has to design they are designed by using this coding language, and further they have to use the tools to verify their design or do the layout, or for fabrication further steps they have to follow. So, all these things has to be passed. So, there should be a proper communication between designer, tool and coding. So, that is now achieved, it is supported by Verilog. There is another PLI, it is called Programmable Logic Interface. It allows function to access information within a Verilog module and allows for designer interaction within the simulator. That means, there are functions which designer can use for accessing the different Verilog modules. So, PLI is a bit complex thing. So, that will may discuss towards the end of this syllabus. So, that at that time we will see. Then lastly, it is used to model different level of abstraction level, like I told, algorithmic level, RTL level, gate level, also transistor level. All the levels can be modeled by using Verilog SDL. So, these are the capabilities, and within this I have written here behavioral level description using architectural, algorithmic and RTL level behavior. So, all can be modeled by using Verilog SDL. Also transistor level design by using NMOS and PMOS. It models C type construct, that means in C there is a construct called looping, conditional operators, all those also it supports. So, it is a you can say some of the C features are there. So, that is why Verilog is most some portion of time it is most widely adopted, because it supports the C features also. Okay. Lastly, here it is written response monitoring and verification. That means, you have designed your code, like you have designed a full adder. So, you have to give inputs like test bench I told. So, once giving inputs in test bench, you have to observe the output that whether the full adder is working fine, as whatever A, B inputs you are given 1 0 1 0, whether your output is as per the truth table of full adder or not. Okay. So, that is called response monitoring. So, it can also use for observing the simulation results of your design. Okay. So, it can also be helpful for verifying your design for functional accuracy, right. So, in right side I have shown the capability that it supports gate level, switch level, algorithmic level, and also you can use RTL level. So, this is to show that it supports different level of hierarchy to design or to model any digital design in Verilog SDL, right. So, these are a bit theoretical stuff. So, after this we will start the coding concept of Verilog. So, for this particular slide I have followed a book called Verilog SDL Primer by J. Bhaskar. Okay. So, references are there at the towards the end of the slides. 3 books I have listed. So, the good approach of the book what I find is it start the second chapter with a name called Verilog A tutorial. So, that means if there are let us say 5 to 10 chapters, out of that one chapter, second chapter is sufficient to initially understand the entire Verilog concept. Okay. Later on each chapter will give you a detailed explanation to understand the Verilog in detailed view. Okay. So, I followed the same approach, so that at least within 1 or 2 days in coming 1 or 2 days you will have a entire Verilog in your mind. Later on we will go in detail of the Verilog class coding concepts or constructs. Okay. So, the basic unit in a Verilog is called as module. So, in right side I have written the basic coding constructs of the Verilog. It started, if you will see, it is started like module name, in bracket it is ports underscore list. So, what are the module input output ports through which it is communicating with the external world, and at the end I have written end module. Okay. So, it has to start from a module, it has to end with the end module. Within this you have to write your code. Okay. So, entire code may be divided into two parts, coding space. One is called declaration part, another is called statement part. Okay. Within declaration there are few keywords are there like range, where, parameter, input, output, in, out, function and task. Within statements there are few executional statements called initial always statement, module instantiation, what I told, calling of modules, gate instantiation, it is using primitive gates and or NAND NOR, and UDP user can define their own primitive gates. Out of the gates available in the library of Verilog, user can define their own gates. So, that is called user defined primitive gate instantiation, and continuous assignment statement. So, continuous assignment statements are the statement used for modeling your data flow modeling. Like if I have given a Boolean expression like y is equal to a and b, a simple Boolean. So, that is mostly modeled by using continuous assignment statement. So, this is actually, if you will see, after module firstly all the declaration part has to be described. So, these are the keywords mostly we describe the design in declaration part. So, once declaration part is over, then we will go ahead with the executional part. Okay. So, it also shows that when you are defining the module, so module should have a module name like full adder, half adder, or any name you give which is valid as a engineering point of view. Okay. And one thing we need to remember that the module name should not be start with a number. So, that is a syntax error. So, what we have to observe is it should always start with a name, like you can write half adder or decoder DEC 2x4, decoder 2x4. Numbers should be towards the end, not in the starting of the coding. Okay. Starting of the module name, these are called identifiers. Then port list, you have to specify what are the different ports. So, if you will see, if it is a digital design, it has to model by using module name. So, this module name only to identify its name, what are the design, followed by it will have input and output ports. So, input ports and output ports you have to decide according to your design how many inputs and outputs are there, and these are the input output ports are the ports which will communicate with other modules in the design in a system. Okay. So, these are, you can say, interfacing terminals. Okay. And finally, if you are defining the module name and input output ports, that does not indicate or that does not reflect that what is the functionality of the module. So, in order to know the functionality of the module, you have to define its functionality through this executional statements. Okay. So, functionality you can define, like I can define a Boolean y equal to a and b. So, that is also one of the function, that is one of the way of expressing design functionality through Boolean expression. Okay. I can also define the structure of the design, like architecture may form like one full adder using two half adder. So, there are two half adders, one OR gate, they are connected with each other properly, they form a structure that is called as full adder. Okay. So, the module name and IO ports are actually required for proper communicating with external world or other blocks in the system, and module name is required only for identifying the module, because there will be a number of modules in a design, you have to identify through its name. Okay. But structure and functionality will form the actual you can say executional statement that will decide what your design is doing, right. So, this is under which I told there are different modeling styles are there in the first slide I told. One is called structural modeling, behavioral modeling, data flow modeling. So, data flow modeling is roughly one representation of Boolean expression. Okay. So, continuous assignment statements is one example of data flow modeling, and structural modeling, module instantiation, gate and UDP are under structural modeling, and initial and always statements are under behavioral modeling. Okay, we will see examples for better understanding. So, in this example, whenever I have written, if you are using all the three modeling style in a module, for defining your designing your digital design or modeling your digital design, that is called mixed type of model. Okay. You can use any one or you can use combination of all, that is allowed. Okay. So, some of the stuffs whatever I have told, that is written here. So, a module basically describes the functionality of the structure or how it communicates with the external world. The structure may be gate level, switch level or behavioral level. Data flow is used for continuous assignment, okay, concurrency like combinational design, sequential behavior which mostly used in digital design for flip flops or memory elements. So, those are called as procedural constructs because they execute in a sequence, not concurrently, one after one. Okay. So, a module can also be instantiated inside another module, that is coming under module instantiation. Understood? So, this is all about your generic view of a Verilog coding. Okay. Followed by that, what we will do is we will write down the code here to understand in a better way rather than studying from the slides. So, I have taken first example, a simple example. So, first is your this is a simple half adder, okay, where we are having one XOR gate and one AND gate. So, we will use the same generic stuffs to do this. Okay. So, initially I can write like module half adder. Okay. So, within that we are writing some input output list. So, I can write A comma B comma sum comma carry, then semicolon. Okay. Understood? So, module name is half adder, then you have to define all the port lists. So, A comma B comma sum comma carry. So, here when I am defining, I am not defining in a order which is input or output. So, later on here I can write down input A comma B. So, I am defining now, this is my declaration, input is A and B is also another input, then followed by it is output is sum comma carry. Okay. So, this is under declaration, we have to define whether what is my output. Okay. So, once it is done, I have also told in the previous slide that whether you are having any parameter, register or where. So, these are they are not available, this is a very small design. So, we will not have those things here. Okay. So, that is not required, directly we will go for the executional part. Okay. So, I am doing this by using concurrent assignment modeling. So, assign has equal to 2, sum is equal to A XOR B, semicolon end, then write down assign hash equal to 5, carry is equal to A and B. Okay. So, finally, you write down end module. End module is a single word, just remember that it does not have any followed by any semicolon. Okay. So, all the statements here we use for executional statement or input output declaration statement, even if the first line will be end by a semicolon. Got, this is very easy coding where we will defining half adder as one of the identifier with module is the keyword, then A B sum carry I am defining as the input outputs, then followed by I am defining input A B and output sum carry. In some tool nowadays they support that they can directly write here input A comma B comma output sum carry, that is allowed. Okay. For as for the general structure is there, first you define this, followed by you can define individually input and outputs. Okay. So, this is a very easy method of defining half adders and it is by using data flow modeling. So, when I am using data flow modeling, we use a statement called assign statement. Okay. So, assign statement here indicates that A and B value will be taken and that will be XOR and that value will be assigned to sum. Sum is my output in the right side after hash 2. So, here hash 2 indicates your 2 time units. Okay, it is not hash after hash when I am pressing 2 in this assign statement, you just it represents delay. Okay, so you can just imagine XOR gate has a propagation delay of 2 time units. I am not telling here 2 nanosecond, that I will tell how the time units can be incorporated here. So, just for the timing you remember that it is 2 time units. After 2 time units, maybe let us say 1 time unit is 1 nanosecond. So, after 2 nanosecond the execution value of A XOR B will be assigned to sum. Okay. Similarly, the carry will be evaluated. So, here we are having standard operators for XOR this one and operator this one. Okay. So, this also shows that these two are concurrent in nature. Understood? Concurrent in nature means whenever there is any of the input is changing, so one event will happen and depending upon that line will be executed. Okay. So, if here A is changing, then no doubt both sum and carry will be executed. Sum will get the result after 2 time units, carry will get the result at 5 time units. Okay. So, these delays are there to only model the propagation delay of the gates. Okay. So, this is called as data flow modeling, but in Verilog terminology they called it as continuous assignment statement, because we use a keyword called assign to assign the output value corresponding input calculation to output value, and also continuous. Why? Because these two will execute parallelly concurrently. Okay. So, now I now will go to in detail of data flow modeling. So, as it is a tutorial class, what we will do is we will take one example of each modeling style, so that one overall idea will be there in your mind. Then we will go in detail of each construct of individual modeling style. Okay. So, in data flow modeling, which is called as continuous assignment statement, here generally we use the data type as net. Okay. So, what is net we will see. So, what we will do is we define there is a data type called where. We define where as a net to value to hold the values. Okay. So, coming to data flow modeling, the syntax for data flow modeling is this, that is generalized syntax: assign in square bracket delay, then LHS net is equal to RHS expression. So, right hand side whatever expression is there, that will be evaluated and that will be assigned to LHS, left side net at a delay interval if it is specified. Sometimes in square bracket whatever we are defining, that is treated as optional in languages. So, that means delay may be optional or delay you may have. There may be a chance your gate does not have a delay in ideal condition, then at that time your delay will be 0. Okay. But if you are having delay, then it has to come after your assigned word keyword. Okay. So, this is a 2 to 4 decoder. You know that A, B and enables are there. It is having active low logic because we are using NAND gate in the output. So, whenever a particular matching will be there, like A0, B0 and enable is high. So, at that time your active low means all the terminals of jets are high at the same time. If you will connect LED, so all will be glowing. When A, B will match as 0, 0. So, Z0 will be off to indicate that a match happens. So, that is called NAND gate used here as a active low output. So, if you use AND gate, then your output will be active high. This is generalized 2 to 4 decoder. So, we will do the same thing using data flow modeling. Okay. So, data flow modeling is, in short I can say, you know Boolean expression, you just express in terms of this syntax, your job is over for coding in data flow modeling. Okay. So, so before to starting the code, I have written one word here called tick time scale 1 nanosecond by 1 nanosecond. This is called compiler directive. So, when I am writing time scale 1 nanosecond by 1 nanosecond, it indicates that what is my time units. Okay. So, here fast 1 nanosecond indicates it is my time units, and next 1 nanosecond indicates the precision of the time units. That means, if I am having, let us say delays, in earlier case we are having a delay of, so okay, here in earlier case we are I have written here, okay, in earlier case we are having a delay of 2 nanosecond, okay, what I have written. So, in that 2 nanosecond, if it is 1 nanosecond means now 2 into 1 nanosecond, it is 2 nanosecond. Are you getting? So, my time unit is 2 nanosecond, and this 1 nanosecond indicates the precision. That means, if it is 2 nanosecond, it will be 2 nanosecond. If it is 2.5 nanosecond, then that 0.5 will be discarded, it will be 2 nanosecond only. Are you getting? So, it is something like if you are having floating point in your time, if I am writing assign hash 2.5, then y is equal to a and b. So, that 0.5 will be there or not, it depends upon this right side precision. Okay. So, if it is 1 nanosecond indicates that there is no floating is required, it should be a whole number. So, now that hash 2.5 will become 2 nanosecond directly. This also in detail I will discuss some other class. So, if you have made tick time scale 1 nanosecond, that indicates your whatever, if you I am writing assign hash 2 means it is 2 nanosecond only. So, it is easier to take this to understand the code initially, later on we can change it to understand the time scale directive. Okay. So, here so after this I can write a module. So, same module decoder 2 cross 4. Okay. So, here I will give all the inputs and outputs. So, first input is A, followed by B, followed by enable, and then I can give output. So, output I will take as a vector. So, I am taking as Z. We will declare it as vector in later on while defining input output. Now, you define your inputs. So, inputs are A, comma B, comma enable. You define, then you define the output. So, output is Z, but again Z is a 4-bit vector. So, I can define in square bracket 0:3 Z. Okay. So, module name is defined, input outputs are defined, then followed by here input, these inputs are all 1 bit. So, directly you can do, if you are having vectors then you define like this, it has to define in a square bracket. Okay. That is the syntax. So, when you are writing 0 in the left side, this 0 indicates 0 bit is now my MSB, and means Z will have different bits. So, while accessing Z here in Verilog this is treated as comment. So, if I now Z0 comma Z1, so like this I can access the individual bit. Okay. So, if I have written 0:3, that means 0 is my MSB and 3 is my LSB. So, if you will take that in comment I am writing that I can write 3:0 also, that is also allowed, it depends what you are writing. So, in that case now 3 will be MSB and 0 will be LSB. Okay. So, coming to the coding, now if you will see in this coding, in module we are defining all the inputs here and outputs here, right. In between there are 2 gates which we can represent in booleans, not gate in or not operator in data flow modeling, followed by there are NAND gate here, understood. So, we can use NAND gate for or NAND operator not with AND to model these NAND gates. So, there are intermediate wires like connecting this inverter to here and like this. Okay. So, these are the intermediate wires which are connecting internally to one block output to another input. Okay. So, these are here called as signal, or you can also termed as net. Okay. These are not defined here. So, that has to be defined during the declaration part. Okay. So, those are declared as where. Okay. So, we have to declare like where. So, here I have a where called here they have given name A bar and B bar. So, I can define like A bar comma B bar, understood. So, entire block now I have defined. So, this where will be used further for find out the or calculating the Z output. Okay. So, now you have to check always that where are existing or not, means terminals connecting internal blocks, those who are not defined within module or input output, those will be treated as where. Okay. So, if there is like in Aperture there was no where, so no need to write anything, but if it is where then you have to write, else syntax will tell ki this is missing. You are nowhere using defining A bar, but you have to in calculation of this Z0 A bar will is one of the input. So, that we have to define. Okay. So, that is actually in data flow modeling, at the same time in structural modeling it is defined as a where. Okay. For behavioral it defines as rich, that we will see in later. Okay, now the next step is you know the boolean of this all the outputs that you have to write down. So, here I am writing like assign. So, you will take certain delays, assign hash 1. So, A bar is equal to not of A. So, this is not operator. Okay. Similarly, so I am first finding out A bar and B bar. So, then you can write down assign hash 1 B bar is equal to not of B. Okay. Then finally, we have to find out the jets. So, for finding out jets, I can write assign hash, let us say I am taking delays. So, delays here I have taken arbitrarily. So, depending upon your design you can take, but this when I am writing hash 1 and hash 2, it indicates now 2 nanosecond. So, if you will not specify time scale here, then tool will be in confusion state. So, this line is initially it is highly required. So, I have put it in early only. Okay. So, assign hash 2, then Z0. So, Z0 here is a combination of, here if you will see Z0 is nothing but it is 0 0 na. So, A bar, B bar and enable. Okay. So, you can write down like A bar and B bar and enable, then bracket and semicolon end. So, this is now very easy to understand. Then after that, for rest all of the model we have taken delay as same 2. So, you can write down Z, okay. So, it is Z0. So, now you can write down Z1. So, Z1 is 0 and 1. So, 0 is again A bar and 1 stands for B. So, I am decoding A and B, this is a simple digital electronics. Then again you can put enable, then semicolon end. Okay. So, similarly for last 2 line I can write assign hash 2 Z2. So, Z2 and it is 10. So, 10 means it is A and B bar and enable, semicolon end. Okay. Then final is your assign hash 2 Z3. So, it is 3 binary is 1 1. So, if I will decode, it will form like A and B and enable, semicolon end. Then finally, you can write down end module 1 word. Okay. So, this completes your data flow modeling for 2 cross 4 decoder. Understood? So, here simply you know the Boolean expression that you can model. Okay. So, only thing you have to remember is after defining module input output, you have to define the wires, interconnecting medium which is not defined in the entity, that is highly required, because these A bar B bar are used here in calculation. Okay. Then after that, what I have done is another important summary of this slide is that I have written assign A bar is equal to not of A, this is a not operator. Okay. So, this as I told that data flow modeling is concurrent in nature, either you write this line in the last first or you write here, that does not matter. For maintaining a order I have written in this order, but that does not indicate ki if you will tell I will write this first line in the last, that is also okay, because this entire codes will execute concurrently and they are event triggered. Event triggered means whenever in the right side whatever input you are given. So, understood. So, A is one of the input, B is one of the input. So, A B will change 10 10. So, if A is changing at the same time there is an event at here and A bar will have a new value. So, if till that period B is not changed, then B bar will not get any new value, it will be returning a old value only. Okay. So, depending upon the right side, like once A is changed, A bar will change. So, now A bar is changing means this A bar is changing. So, this will get certain new value. Understood. So, these all are concurrent in nature, all will execute parallelly in 0 time units, means starting of the simulation. Okay. Understood. So, it is immaterial that you are writing this line in fast or fast line in the last, that hardly matter, but internally simulator maintains a queue to understand that which line he has to execute, but for user it will seem like it executing all the statements concurrently. That is to model combinational design, this is the features available in your Verilog SDL. Okay. So, this is the simulator diagram I have put to understand this is easy stuff. So, if you will see in the earlier code, it was my enable is changed after 5 time units and A is changed at 15 time units. So, if you will see Z0 I was having a time delay of 2 nanosecond. So, after when 5 is changing, so at 5 into 2 is your delay add up, at 7 you are getting the new value of Z0. Are you getting? So, this is the whatever Boolean expression we have written, if you will follow the same Boolean expression, in that you add up all the delays, you will get the corresponding, this is your called test bench diagram, simulation result for 2 cross 4. So, again this generation of enable A and B has to be done in coding level only. So, that we will see towards the end of this tutorial class. Okay. So, if there are no delays are specified, then the delay will be 0 delay. That means, it will execute instantly, there is instantaneous assignment, no delay will be there. If you means what I want to say is, initially it was after 5 your A changes from 0 to 1. So, this is called event trigger. So, when A is changing from 0 to 1, there is one event happening at A, at the same time B is not changing. Oh sorry, enable changes from 0 to 1. Okay. So, when enable changes from 0 to 1, so at that time if you will see Z0 having an enable as the input and it is assigned after 2 time units, Z0 will get the new value. So, Z0 is getting new value after 5 plus 2 7 time units. So, accordingly the time units are added. So, that you do further analysis, if any doubt we can discuss. So, now this is all about data flow modeling. The summary is that you have to use a assign keyword, followed by you have to give you write down your after hash you have to give your delay, and the delay time units will be decided by time scale tick time scale directive. Tick is the keyword we use in the directives of defining directives in Verilog. Okay. So, that has to be written in first top of the line, top of the coding. So, depending on by default you can write down 1 nanosecond, 1 nanosecond. So, all your will come a round number 2 nano, 5 nano like that. So, if you are required some floating point delays, then like in fraction, then you have to change the precision value. Okay. So, that we will see detail in future classes, and after that use the assign keyword and you can just replicate your Boolean expression in terms of assign and its corresponding, you have to use corresponding operators, not and or is like this. Okay. So, that I will say in detail also operators. Now, next is data flow modeling is over. The next is called as a behavioral modeling. Okay. So, in behavioral modeling we use two constructs to define behavioral modeling. One is called initial statement. Here we are seeing one is called initial statement and another is called always statement. Okay. These are called as procedural construct, which because they execute the statement in a sequence. Okay. Unlike your concurrent assignment statement execute the sequence all the statement in parallelly or concurrently, they can execute the statement in sequentially. Okay. So, that is why it is called procedural concepts. So, but for using behavioral level modeling you have to use two keywords, one is called initial, another is called always. So, the initial is actually used to create a block and it executes the block only once, we will see the examples. Always statement is used to execute the things repeatedly. Okay. So, that means, if you want to initialize certain values to like one of the input of A, B, C, you can use initial statement, but if you designing a full adder, then it has to be defined by using always block, means because this has to take A, B, C in as different inputs and always it has to perform the operation and give the corresponding output at sum and CO. Okay. So, that we will see always is an operator, always is an construct of behavioral modeling which executes the loop in a repeated manner. Okay. So, here when you are using behavioral modeling, so as it is a procedural construct, so you know that sequential designs are used in our digital design to model memory, flip flops and registers. Okay. So, those are clock based design and those are also depends upon the clock, they do not work concurrently like combinational design. Okay. So, what happens here, the data type used is called as register, reg. So, we do not use where as a data type in behavioral level modeling. So, you have to be be cautious to understand where we will use where and where we will use reg. With experience it will be clarified to you. So, in a summary you can remember that for data flow modeling, for structural modeling you have to use where, and for behavioral modeling you have to use register, and again we will see what is the condition to use register. After writing the coding we will see. Okay. So, what we have done is, so we can also model combinational design using behavioral level modeling. It is not always that you will model a sequential design like flip flop or counter or memory in behavioral level modeling. We may have combinational blocks also. Okay. So, I have taken example of the same full adder to model the behavioral level design. So, that we will write down 1 bit full adder. Okay. So, as the name indicates, or we can take a module, we can take a full adder, let us say 1, I am giving one module name is full adder 1. So, again input is A, B, C in, output is sum and C out. So, whatever you take is combinational or sequential, your module name has to be written properly, and after that you have to give input output. Okay. So, then you can define input as A comma B comma C in semicolon, then you have to write output as sum comma C out, then semicolon. Okay. So, shall I have to write where here or reg? So, as see, just find that here S1, T3, T1, T2, these are intermediate connections which are not defined in input output or inside the module. Okay. So, this has to be properly defined, right. So, it has to be properly defined either by where or reg, that again we have to decide which one will be where and which one will be reg. So, what we will do is, I am defining here as reg sum comma C out, then again reg T1 comma T2 comma T3. So, that I will see, I will tell, then you can write down always. So, declaration part over, I am starting the executional part, always at the rate of bracket start A or B or C in. Okay. So, then you have to write down a block called begin, and followed by you have to write down end. So, when I am writing begin means I am starting a block, okay, for always. So, here I can write down like sum is equal to A XOR B XOR C in, okay, and I can write down like T1 is equal to, T1 is here is combination of A and C in, and T2 is combination of B and C in. Similarly, T3 is combination of A and B. Okay, understood. Now, to find out C out, so I will write down like C out is equal to T1 or T2 or T3 bracket end semicolon end, then you write down end, then end module. So, this is one initial example for you for in behavioral level modeling. Okay, so, we will understand it. So, you started with module full adder A comma B comma C in sum C out, then you have defined input and output all at single bits. So, no scalar, no vector we have defined. Then here I have defined reg as sum and C out and reg as T1, T2 and T3. In simple understanding, you can remember, if you are using a initial block or you are using an always block, inside that you have to see that what are the outputs which are being assigned with certain statement expression. Okay. So, if you will see here, sum is one output, okay, which is assigned with certain value in the always block, and T1, T2, T3 and also C out, understood, all are certain where or certain outputs which are assigned with certain statements, understood what I am telling. So, all these sum T1, T2, T3 and C out has to be declared as register. Okay. Summary is, you just from layman point of view I am telling you, just see the outputs inside the always block. If all the outputs are assigned to a certain value, then those has to be declared as register. That is the requirement of a syntax requirement of a always block, also initial block. Understood? So, if I will not write C out here, then C out will no longer be reg, it may be where. But as C out, sum T1, T2, T3 respectively all are assigned with certain values, so that has to be declared as register. Okay. Then after that you start with always @ A or B or C in. Okay. So, this indicates that this actually @ is called as event triggering. So, in detail we will see in behavioral level modeling class. Initially to understand, @ is called as an event triggering. Okay. In event triggering, if any of the inputs A or B or C in, they are changing from 0 to 1 or 1 to 0, then this entire loop will be executed, this entire block will be executed. Okay. Till A, B or C in are not changing, it will retain the old values. Okay. Now, next is begin and end are used to create a block here, block of statement. Block of statement indicates more than one statement. So, if you will tell that only I am having one statement here, then no need to write begin and end, that is it will not ask, tool will not ask error that no begin end specified. But if you are having any statement, it is more than one number statement, then it will be begin and end has to be put there. Okay. Then after that rest all the things are same, like you are using sum is equal to A XOR B XOR C in, all the operators you have to take. Do not be confused with the assigned statement, when you are here there is no assigned statement. So, here assignment will be done with respect to @ of A or B or C in. Okay. So, depending upon this line these assignments will be there, but in assigned statement in data flow modeling we use assign to assign the statement keyword. So, this is a bit confusion you have to avoid, this is syntax. Okay. So, once C out is over, as you started a begin, the block should be end with an end syntax, then as you have started one module, it will be end with an end module. So, here we have to use initial or always statement. Okay. And you have to take care of reg also. Okay. Then followed by I have put two another things here, another two slides in brief. So, a procedural assignment statement, why it is called procedure? Because it is will act sequence. So, okay. Another thing is when you are writing always block here, after begin all these lines will execute one after one, means first sum will be evaluated, then T1, then T2, then T3, then C out. This is not concurrent, because always has been written and begin indicates it is a sequential in nature. Okay. So, if in this line if you will tell that I will put my C out before your T1, then it will not give you proper result, because T1 is not evaluated if you will put C out here. So, that is why I have deliberately put T1, T2, T3 first, it has to be evaluated, followed by C out will get its final result. So, this is sequential in nature. Okay. One after one. So, now here also there is a provision to pass delay, like by using hash and further. So, there are a procedural assignment may optionally have a delay. I have not shown in the first example to make the thing simple. So, what we can do in sum is equal to A XOR B XOR C in, after that you can write like this hash 4, this is actually T1, hash 4 T1 is equal to A and C in. So, after hash 4 if you are putting, it is treating as 4 time units. Okay. So, this type of defining delay, this all has to be written in always statement, it is for explanation I am not given always here. So, this type of delays are called inter statement delay. So, that means one line will be executed, then after that 4 time units delay will be there, then second line will be executed. Okay. So, similarly, there is another called intra statement delay. So, in this case what will happen, the delay will be assigned once the right side is evaluated, after that it will wait for 3 time units, then sum will be assigned with that particular expression output. Okay, so there are two types of delays, one is called inter-statement delay and another is called intra-statement delay. Depending upon that where you are putting your hash 4 or hash 3, it will be decided. You use any one, it is not a problem. There are two types of constructs or syntax supported. Okay. So, raise data type retains the value until a new value is assigned, and all initial and always statements begin execution time at 0 concurrent. That means, it is to say that range here is used because sometimes we can use behavioral modeling to model sequential design. So, at that time range can be helpful to retain or store the 1 bit data if it is 1 bit range. Okay. So, that is why range is used in behavioral level modeling than your where, right. Second is what example I have given for full adder, in that I am only having one always block. There may be a question arise that if I am having 3 always block, which will execute after which sequence. Okay. So, that answer is all initial and always statement begin execution at time 0 concurrently. That means, if you are having 2 always or 3 always statement, each always block will execute simultaneously. The body of the always block will execute sequentially. Understood my point? Always 1, always 2, always 3, or maybe initial 1, initial 2, initial 3, all will start executing in 0 time unit. Okay. Internal body may execute sequentially, it depends upon the internal body of the always, but if you are having n number of always, they will all execute parallel. Okay. So, if there is no delay, that delay can be treated as 0 delay. That means, the assignment will be done instantly. This is last slide. Here to demonstrate the one example like time scale 1 nanosecond, 1 nanosecond, module test P1 and P2. So, here output is P1 and P2. This initial also can be used to generate waveform for simulation. So, if you will see as P1, P2 respectively individually in a initial, begin and end, they assigned with a certain value. So, I have defined range P1 and P2. Okay. So, initial, begin and end, when I am writing initial, it will execute only once. Okay. So, and after begin end, all these lines are sequential in nature. So, initially at 0 time units, P1 is 0. So, it is 0. Okay. After at that same time P2 is also 0, P2 is also 0, P1 is equal to hash 5 1, this is intra statement delay. Okay. Hash 5 1 means after 0 time units, P1 will get after 5 time units, it will become 1. Okay. So, as this is sequential in nature, P2 will get 1 at 5 plus 3 time units, that means at 8 time units P2 will get the 1. Are you getting? Because it is sequential body, it is not parallel. So, at 5 time units P1 will get 1, then 5 plus 3 at 8 time units P2 will get 1, then at 8 plus 6 14 time units P1 will go down to 0. Similarly, 14 plus 2 at 16 time units P2 will go down to 0. Okay. So, this is actually one of the example how to generate waveform for giving input test vector for simulation purpose. So, at that time we use initial always. So, when I am writing initial, it will execute only once. So, it will start from 0 time units, it will end at 16 time units, and the last value it will not repeat itself. But if instead of initial I will put always here, then after 16 again it will go there. Okay. 16 plus 5 at 21 P1 will again get 1, again 21 plus 3 24, 30 32, it will keep on rotating in a loop. Okay. That is the difference between initial and always. So, as it is a tutorial class, we will go in brief, in future more detailed class we will again discuss the thing with more examples. Are you getting? This is how the waveforms are generated by using behavioral modeling construct called initial statement. Okay. So, here we will end the behavioral level modeling. Next slide we will discuss about structure level model. Okay.